Hello everybody, Erica Serwin here from Pink Buckaroo Designs, and today I'm going to show you how to make this gel water card. This is an oldie but goodie technique, but now that we have these jar framelits, I think it's time to bring it back and make what is old new again. So you can see how I have made this little jar squishy. My kids love to play with this, and this is a fun card for kids and adults alike. Everyone wants to squish and feel because it is unique and different. All right, so let's get started. The two stamp sets I'm using are Jar of Love and the Hardwood Background Stamp. I'm using the large jar, the handle, the lid, the fish, and I think that's it. Let's see. Oh, and the Best Fishes sentiment right there. Best Fishes. All right. So the first thing we need to do is set up our soft suede paper. We're going to use this background stamp along with the soft suede ink. Now, as you know, a background stamp can be kind of messy, but it is definitely worth it. I'm going to turn mine over. Mine is mounted on the wood, but it also comes in clear. I'm going to turn it over and take my soft suede ink pad and get it nice and inked. Pull over some grid paper so that I don't get my work surface messy. I'm going to turn it this way. I seem to handle the stamps a little bit better sideways. And I'm just going to go straight up and down. I'm going to push even pressure all over it, and let's see how it looks. Very good. All right, let's move that out of the way so that it doesn't make a mess. And I'm going to pull over my paper cutter. And I want this to measure, let's make sure we want it to measure 1, 2, 3 inches wide. And it's going to be 5.5 inches long. All right, so 3 inches. Come over here and cut it down to 3 inches and 5.5, which it already is. Good. Now I'm going to use this part right here because I need one plank to go across. So I'm just going to cut it down and use one of these planks. It doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as it's straight. And you want it to be 4, let's see, let's look at the card and see, do we want it to go all the way across? No, we want it to just go 3 inches across. So let's move it over to 3 and cut it down. All right, now we need to get that jar in the center, but we're only going to use the inside jar framelit. So we need to decide exactly where we want this jar to go. So let's see, we want it to be about right here. I kind of had it over to the side. And we were going to use the inside because if we cut out the whole jar shape, we wouldn't be able to have the stamped image. So let's make sure it's straight. All right, let's take that one off. I'm going to bring the Big Shot over here. See if I can move it without getting it quite out of the way. I recommend that you use the magnetic platform on your Big Shot for this. Let's see, does that look straight? Because your magnetic platform is going to hold this in place exactly how you want it. It's not going to move around. All right, so there we go. We have the opening. All right, let's move that out of the way for a minute. And now we're going to stamp the jar. And I used Marina Mist ink and Marina Mist paper. Let's stamp that right down here so we don't waste too much paper. There we go. All right, now we're going to use both the inside and the outside jar framelit. So let's move the Big Shot back over here before I get them lined up because we'll just have to move them again. You know what, I'm going to actually cut this paper down so that I can turn it and see that I'm lined up right. All right, here's the outside. And the inside. So we're making a window frame really out of this jar. Now this card is not your beginner card. This is definitely an advanced card. Has lots and lots of steps. And I would not recommend this for someone who's just starting out. But for those of you who are looking to stretch your stamping skills, this is a great one. Okay, so now let's come over here. I'm gonna use my fine tip glue. And actually, before I do that, I'm gonna come back over to my plank. Remember we cut that long plank out? And I'm going to ink the edges with that soft suede. This is to kind of ground our jar. We don't want our jar floating around. It needs to be sitting on something. So that's why I put a plank across. All right, ink those edges. Now I'm going to use my fast fuse and put it right under, whoops, sorry, I bumped the camera a little bit. Put it right under that opening. And now I'm going to use my fine tip glue and I'm going to put some dots around here. Turn it over and have it sitting right there on that plank. All right, we're going to let that dry. And we're going to cut out a few more things. Let's see, we are going to stamp the ink and, the lid and the handle in basic gray. So here's the lid and here's the handle. And again, we're going to use that magnetic platform to line these guys up. Put that down on the bottom plate. And see, these just line up beautifully. No hand cutting needed. It's going to come out perfect. Let's see if I can get that on there. It looks like I might have stamped them too closely. So we're going to cut this one out first. Come back, take that off, and put the lid on. Do you guys ever do that where you're trying to save paper, but then your framelits, the thickness of your framelits, prevent you from doing both of them at the same time? There we go. All right. So we've got those pieces. This guy, I don't have my brush with me. There we go, pops right out. All right, now let's get our card set up. The last thing we're gonna do is put it all together in a few minutes, but I wanna show you what I used. This is DSP from By the Shore. Oh goodness, why can I never remember the names when I need to? Seaside, the new Seaside DSP. And I'll list this all on my blog, so hop over to my blog if you need the exact names and measurements. Now I did something neat right here on the edge. I created a scallop border using this framelit from the popcorn, the new popcorn box. And as you can see, it is not straight, it's kind of curved. And that's okay, it kind of creates a whimsical feel, I think. So let me show you how I did this. Because the framelit is not long enough for the paper, we have to do a little finagling here, a little manipulation, and line that up and do your first cut all the way across. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to lay this end right there, hoping that I can match up. You can kind of feel it when it goes in that ditch of the last cut. And I'm just going to lay this over this edge because sometimes I don't get it perfectly lined up and I can see that it's already moving. Okay, let's go back. We want it to be right. I don't get it perfectly lined up sometimes, and it creates a little sliver, which it might do this time. Let's see. Yep, it did. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. See this right here? We don't want that. So just take your paper snips, your scissors, and carefully follow along that edge and just trim that off. It adds to that whimsical feel, that kind of fun, kid-like look. All right, let's put this down. All right, now we're going to stamp our little fish here in where our card is going to be. So let's see where that's going to be. And we want to stamp our little fish in pumpkin pie. So let's get our fish and let's put him right in the middle. There we go. All right, so we have that ready. Now it's time to fill our gel. These are 3x4 craft bags. Look how many come in a bag. It was just maybe $3 at my local craft store, and I found them in the jewelry section. This is, I think, for maybe selling your jewelry that you make or storing your beads. And this is just some gel that I got at the grocery store, hair gel. And I'm gonna fill it up, not too much, maybe about 1/4 of the way. The first time I did it, I filled it up too much and it made the card really thick. All right, so I'm gonna squish it around, lay it flat. Gotta let some of that air out. And we want it to be as flat as we can without losing that fun gel look. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this right in the center. Hopefully this is going to cover it up. Yep, just like that. Okay, so let's take our Fast Fuse. This is another great thing that Fast Fuse is for. I would not recommend mailing this card. I think it probably wouldn't survive. If you get a tiny little hole poked in this, it would probably leak and then your card would arrive and it would look kind of funny, if you ask me. All right, it looks like my paper's a little bit long here, so I'm going to come back and trim that really quickly. There we go. All right, now we need to attach it. And because this creates some dimension up here, I put Fast Fuse on the sides and the bottom that would touch the bag. But up here at the top, I'm going to add one of our foam adhesive strips. I cut just a piece and put it right here because if I put Fast Fuse here, the paper would be angled down. So we want to keep that height there so that the paper is going to be flat. And let's see if I can get it lined up without putting my head in the camera. A little bit over, whoops. Just like that. And there we have our squishy little water jar. All right, let's add these things. I'm going to add these with some glue dots, the handle, right down there, and the lid. Put a little bit of Fast Fuse there. Now, I cut a tiny little heart using this border heart framelit. This is from the Treat Bag Thinlit collection. So I cut a little tiny pumpkin pie heart to bring out that pumpkin pie color from the fish. And I'm going to put it right there on the edge. Now I have a tiny little banner that I cut, and I'm going to stamp the best fishes. And I'm going to put it towards the left or the right side so that I can trim off that edge like that. Put that kind of hanging over like that. Maybe I need to turn my heart a little bit. Let's see, how does that look? There. Last thing we need to do is a bow, and I'm using my burlap ribbon. You guys have seen me do this before. You cut off the long edge, and you can do this with lots of your ribbons and pull out the strands to create skinnier fibers for your cards. That way you don't have so much bulk. Now this card obviously has a lot of bulk because of the gel bag. Let's see, now we just pull these out and make a little bow. Well, let's see. This piece is too short. Let's do another one. Let's pull another one out. There we go. Now I'm going to do two this time. If you take two strands and just use them like they're one, you get a double bow. Add it with a glue dot right there at the top of the heart. And there we have it. All right, what's old is new again. A water gel card, fun for a kid or an adult. All right, I hope you guys like that. It is on a basic soft suede card base, and it would make a fun birthday card or going away card, or just a fun thinking of you card for anybody. Now remember to hop back over to my blog for all the dimensions and product information, and let me know what you guys think. Okay, great. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.